patients and physicians confident in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Hey, I like your new car.
Thanks.
Could you stop at this coffee shop? I need a cup of joe.
Press that little red button.
Hey, an entire coffee machine just came out of your dashboard.
Yep.
More things should be built in, like the multiplier in Mega Millions from your Nebraska Lottery. It's one of the new enhancements to the game, along with bigger jackpots and better odds.
Oh, that coffee is a little strong.
Press the blue button.
What's that?
Cream dispenser.
$5 Mega Millions top prize odds, 1 in 290 million.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service. But it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free. So visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, it's not a weeknight necessarily. It is a weekend. Welcome into it. Austin Oerman with you here. You normally hear me during On the Block as well as Old School weekdays 3 to 6 here on The Ticket. You also hear me during the Baseball Corner, which is Monday night at 6. That's me and Nick Sainer, and the Corner 3. If you were listening last night, yep, we're both back here in the same spot. We were just about, let me do my math here, about 16 hours ago. My math is correct. Friday night, 6 to 7, the Corner 3 with me, Austin Oerman. Appreciate everyone who's along for the ride here for the next hour or so. If you're down in the Haymarket for the Farmers Market, would love to see you swing by the station. Stop by, say hi, grab a cup of coffee from the mill. Highly recommend our friends over at the mill. 1040 O Street, easy to find right here on the corner of 11th and O. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk a lot of baseball this hour. Lots going on in baseball in college, in high school, and of course in the major leagues. We'll get to the major leagues in the second segment and third segment of the show. If you didn't know, we are Lincoln's home for the Kansas City Royals. And so with that, we will talk plenty of Royals in our next segment. As they would say, the boys are playing some ball. Proud of the Royals. Now 16 out of 18 wins for the Royals. Excited to talk about that in a little bit. Stay tuned on Monday, though, for full baseball corner. I'm sure Nick and I will start going over what the bracket looks like for the state baseball tournament. We got some big upsets, especially in Class B, that I'm sure we will talk about. If you didn't know, we will carry the state baseball tournament starting next week. It'll run the 16th through the 23rd, so we'll start on a Friday. We'll carry you through pretty much all week here on the Ticket. Just like state basketball, right? We'll have the games. Then in between games, you will be hearing from people back here in the studio. Nick and I might pop on, give you a little bit of a recap from Tal Anderson Field and Werner Park as well. But I do know that with this being Give to Lincoln month, we will start having some people from Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach trickle in. That's where we will be for Give to Lincoln Day on the 29th of May. Looking forward to that. I know we're getting ready to get out there. I know we had some people tour, get the whole setup for what it's going to be, but we've been other places throughout the community on Give to Lincoln Day. This year, we're on North 27th Street with Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach. Of course, donations go all month. Give to Lincoln Day, though, is in just a few weeks on the 29th. If there's anything in baseball, though, that has your eye, that has your ear, that has captured your mind, let me know. 402-464-5685. Let's take a look, though, at what's happening in Husker baseball and Husker softball. We'll start with softball. Mentioned it a little bit yesterday. Huskers end up falling to UCLA, final score of 4-2. Jordy Ball takes the loss on the mound. Nebraska drops to 39-13, where UCLA improves to 49-9. Impressive stuff there out of the Bruins. Nebraska's offense really could not get going. Huskers only end up leaving 4 batters on base. They only only record 5 hits and 2 walks. 7 base runners is what you got for Nebraska. There might have been a hit by pitch in there as well. No, there was not. So literally for Nebraska, just those 7 base runners. Nebraska scores 2 of them, leaves 4 of them stranded. UCLA took the lead early in that one. Nebraska rallied late. Nebraska rallied in the 6th when they trailed 3-0. Nebraska got Samantha Bland and Ava Kuzak on with back-to-back singles. Olivia DiNardo would get out, and then Hannah Camenzind lined one deep to right field. Ends up being a triple, but Nebraska was not able to push her across as the tying run. UCLA would get one of them right back in the 6th, and Nebraska would go down quietly in the 7th. It was a top-to-bottom struggle for Husker softball to get anything going against Caitlin Terry on the mound yesterday. She went those 7 innings, only those 5 hits. She struck out 13 batters in those 7 innings, and she victimized Jordy Ball 3 of those times. A rough day at the plate for Jordy Ball, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Not what Nebraska has come to expect from its leadoff hitter. And Jordy Ball was fine on the mound. This is a pretty high-powered lineup if you look at what UCLA has done. Jordy Ball goes the distance, pitches all 6 innings. She allows 9 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. Did not walk a batter, but did end up plunking 2 of them. Jordy Ball struck out 11 on 107 pitches. Did a pretty good job being around the zone. 80 of her 107 pitches went for strikes, but ultimately not enough as Nebraska falls to UCLA in the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. I believe we get Golden Blue versus Maize and Blue in the Big Ten finals. That is UCLA as the 2 seed versus the 8 seed Michigan. So that'll take place from West Lafayette later today. Husker baseball. Bill and Bennett, appreciate you chiming in here on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Good outing for Tucker Timmerman last night. Needed that. Absolutely. Nebraska baseball starts the weekend off right with a win over Michigan. They knock out ace Kurt Barr after 6 innings and over 100 pitches. We'll get into the offense here in just a little bit. But yeah, not just good for Tucker Timmerman, great for Tucker Timmerman. Of course, he's the one that got hit in the face with the bouncing ball in one of Nebraska's early tournaments, the earliest tournament, in fact, season opening weekend down in Arizona. So a little bit of a fresher arm, perhaps, for Tucker Timmerman. But, man, you take a one-hopper, 100-plus miles an hour off the bat, to be able to return to the mound as quickly as Tucker Timmerman did is commendable, let alone return at all. I'm sure a lot of people would have some yips, would have some jitters, that you suffer something traumatic like that, face gets swollen like that many stitches, the rehab process I'm sure he had to undergo, even with something as simple as eating or drinking, right? But for Tucker Timmerman to come back, he's been, pretty darn good for Nebraska down the stretch. And last night was probably his best performance as a Husker. Certainly his longest performance as a Husker. Tucker Timmerman picks up the win by virtue of going 7 innings, only allowed 5 hits and 1 walk. Timmerman struck out 5, only allowed 1 run. And it came in, I believe it was the first inning. Yeah, pitched around some trouble in the first. It was a single back to Timmerman is what they credit it as. So Michigan takes a 1-0 lead. Tucker Timmerman was nails. He was electric. That's the guy that you really thought Nebraska was going to get out of Beatrice High School. Not a guy that you thought Nebraska would turn to in the starting rotation quite this year. You would think he's the guy that would get built up into being a starter, certainly an option in the midweek. But for Tucker Timmerman to take the ball in one of the most important series Nebraska's had in the last couple of years, with Nebraska still fighting for Big Ten tournament eligibility, for him to take the ball, go those 7 innings, face 27 batters too, that's pretty darn good for Tucker Timmerman. I mean, 10 groundouts, 4 flyouts, and 5 strikeouts. For him, he did hit a couple of batters, so the control weren't perfect by any means. But still, 5 strikeouts to 3 free passes is a step in the right direction. Did a good job limiting damage when there was traffic on the bases. Tucker Timmerman set the tone for Nebraska. It helps that he was pitching with a lead, to be sure, But how many times have we seen Nebraska fall behind, come back, scratch, fight, claw into a game just like they did last night, and then things fall apart in the late innings? That's really what it's been for Nebraska the last couple of Fridays, but not tonight. Tucker Timmerman takes the ball, gives Nebraska length, which is important because the bullpen hasn't necessarily been trustworthy, because you're getting into a time of the season where you're going to need as many arms available out of the bullpen as you can have, because every game for Nebraska right now needs to be do or die. And I know that that flies in the face, is a little contrary to something Evan Bland and I talked about, Nebraska's approach in the midweek, right? Where Creighton pours a lot into those Nebraska games, treats it more as a sprint, whereas Nebraska has been a team that views the season as a marathon, right? Not trying to win, do whatever it takes to win. No, okay, that sounds bad. Let me rephrase, right? Every game is important, but Nebraska is not going to prioritize one game over, especially one midweek game, over winning a weekend. Now, that calculus needs to shift a little bit with Nebraska in, but not firmly in the Big Ten tournament picture right now, and in a conference series, right? Early midweek games, you can understand, you know what, we really want to win. We're going to run out there a guy that we think gives us the best shot to win, but we're not going to, try to stretch a guy an extra inning if we don't have to, right? If he's our best option, we'll do it. But if his pitch count is getting up there, if he's not built up, we're not going to risk it. But now is the time of the year where Nebraska's got to go all in on winning these games. Nebraska now 12-13 in conference play, and we'll certainly take a look at the Big Ten standings here in just a little bit. Drew Christo was summoned for the 8th inning. Things did not go well for him. Drew Christo only records 1 out among the 4 batters that he faces. He walks 1 and gives up a hit to 1 as well. Bases were loaded, right? And Luke Broderick ends up walking in a run that gets charged to Drew Christo. But shout out to Luke Broderick for finding a way to limit the damage. There's the mentioned Evan Bland, right? Really interesting profile of Drew Christo in the Omaha World Herald on omaha.com earlier this week. Highly recommend you go check that out. Evan did a great job writing it. But it's just unfortunate for Nebraska, and I'm sure Nick and I will get into this more Monday on the Baseball Corner, that Nebraska keeps running Drew Christo out there, but he's not necessarily locking things down. He's not exactly the shutdown guy that you hoped he would develop into. I mean, this year, I believe this is updated after last night. Yeah, it is updated after last night. Nebraska at 25-25. Drew Christo's ERA is 6 in 25 appearances. Drew Christo has appeared the most of any pitcher on the roster. He's appeared in every other game for Nebraska right now. He's appeared half the time. 38 innings, 38.2 for Drew Christo, with 38 hits allowed. So 38 hits and 25 walks in 25 appearances and 38 innings for Drew Christo. That would be a whip that's not quite 2, like 1.6 whip, walks and hits per innings pitched. That's not going to cut it, especially for a dude as big as Christo, who we thought had some pretty darn good natural stuff. But it's just not playing up. Drew Christo's allowed 28 runs in 38 innings. And it's not like there's even, huge strikeout stuff to match. He's striking out essentially a batter an inning. 39 strikeouts in 38.2 innings. That works out to 9 strikeouts per 9. That's a strikeout per inning, which isn't atrocious. But for a guy with a fastball that's in the mid-90s, with the slider that he has, where's the development been for Drew Christo, right? He's pitching seemingly as the same guy he was when he got to Nebraska. I mean, opponents are hitting 260 off of him. He's given up 5 home runs, which is the most of any reliever on the team, tied with Price Bender, who's also given up 5. But think about this. Jackson Brockett in 47 innings has given up 5 home runs as a starting pitcher, where you think those guys are a little more susceptible to it. I mean, Ty Horn's given up 12 and Will Walsh has given up 11. But in 25 appearances and 38 innings, Drew Christo's given up 5 homers and 7 doubles, which is the second most doubles allowed by a Husker reliever. 8 wild pitches out of him. He's also plunked a couple of batters. And I don't say this to rag on the guy, right? Again, if you go read Evan's piece, Drew Christo's a guy that I do believe is giving his heart and soul to this program, right? He didn't transfer when it got tough. The coaching staff must like him to keep him around despite some of the struggles or maybe lack of development to some degree from his end. And Nebraska needs guys to throw innings. But I'm really led to a couple different conclusions, right? Number one is that Nebraska still believes in Drew Christo, which if they do, you know what? Fine. If this is who the coaching staff wants to go down with, this is a guy that's going to make or break Nebraska's season. That's the bed they're making. That's the bed they're going to have to lay down in, at the end of the day. But the other almost scarier thought is, what if Drew Christo legitimately is the best that Nebraska has? Maybe Nebraska just trusts Drew Christo because he's been around the block, because he's been with the program for a while. But if you just look at the results, if you just look at the surface numbers, there's not a lot there telling you that Nebraska should be trusting Drew Christo in these high leverage moments. I mean, a 2-run game against the team in Michigan who's ahead of you in the Big Ten standings, but they're within arm's reach, right? Nebraska sweeps Michigan, and Michigan loses their next series. Nebraska and Michigan could be in a very similar spot record-wise. Nebraska is fighting for Big Ten tournament position, and they're running Drew Christo out there, I think, for the most part, because they have to. I mean, Gavin Blackowitz has been fine, has been solid. Casey Dice has been here and there. He's been fine. And then who else are you gonna hand the ball to? Does anyone here fully trust Caleb Clark? I don't know if I do. Ryan Harehill, I mean, he's taken the ball 11 times, not been incredible. Grant Clevenger has had moments. The biggest problem for Nebraska is that they don't have a very wide circle of trust. Right now, the circle of trust is pretty much Luke Broderick on the pitching side of things. Will Walsh wasn't great against Creighton. Ty Horn, the numbers aren't necessarily there. I know Nick's a believer in him. Let's see Ty Horn back it up today, right on senior day. Can Ty Horn say, you know what, seniors, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to put this team on my back. I'm going to deliver a good outing for you. Is that something that the Ty Horn can do? Jackson Brockett, okay, he's been fine. He's been solid. Not elite by any stretch of the imagination. I still don't know if we know what we're going to get out of Jackson Brockett in the rotation. And then in the bullpen, I mean, Jalen Worthley's only taken the ball 13 times. He's got an ERA of 7. That's not great. In 18 innings, he's walked 8 guys, only struck out 12. Jalen Worthley hasn't taken that next step forward like we thought he could. Carson Yasa has had every opportunity, hasn't worked to the degree that I think Nebraska needs it to. TJ Coates, Colin Novacek, right? We can go up and down the list of names. But point being is, as much as I think, Husker fans like Bill and Bennett here, who says that Christo should definitely be limited to maybe 1 or 2 batters from here on out, as much as that's great in theory, who else are you going to give those innings to, right? I mean, is now the point of the year where you start to really rely on Luke Broderick for 2 inning saves? Say Luke Broderick go get 6 outs. How long is that sustainable for? At the very least, I don't think you're going to be able to depend on Nebraska starters to consistently pitch you into the 6th or 7th innings. So you still need a bridge guy. And of the options that Nebraska has, is it Gavin Blackowitz as a young guy in his first extended action? At this point, I don't blame Nebraska for not trusting a young guy, but you have to go with the guys who have been consistent, who have been good for you pretty much all year long. And Casey Dice, maybe. Gavin Blackowitz, maybe. But I can't blame the staff for going with Drew Christo, right? That's a guy they know. It's a guy that they seem to trust. And the stuff would tell you that the Drew Christo's results should be better than they are. I don't know if it's a flat fastball. I don't know if it's a spinning breaking ball instead of one that moves and darts, whatever it is. But Drew Christo on the mound isn't the intimidating presence that Nebraska needs him to be. You hope that he turns the corner. You hope he gets it figured out. But at this point, I think Drew Christo just is who he is. John says on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line 402-464-5685, the biggest question that I had coming into this season was Nebraska's pitching and pitching depth. He thought Nebraska could hit the ball, but the pitching depth was a big if, and that's what it's looked like all year. And to be fair, it's hard to just assume someone's going to step up and be the next Brett Sears, the next Big Ten pitcher of the year. Mason McConaughey looked the part if you looked at his rate stats from last year. And of course, McConaughey goes down after just his third appearance of the year, right? He makes 3 starts, didn't go very long in any of them. I mean, he only threw 13 innings, 13 and a third in those 3 appearances. 19 strikeouts against 6 walks is pretty solid. That's that 3-to-1 ratio that Nebraska wanted to be at. Mason McConaughey allowed 9 runs on 11 hits in those innings. So you lost your Friday guy. And that's going to throw the vast majority of programs into a bit of a tailspin, right? Especially in the early going. But who stepped up into that Friday role for Nebraska? Really no one consistently, right? Will Walsh has been fine. He's been solid, but he hasn't been a lights out, yeah, we feel really great about our chances with this guy on the mound Friday guy. I mean, it's his first year as a full-time starter, right? That's a young man who's still learning how to pitch full-time, right? Who's pitched, if not the most innings of his career, it's got to be approaching it with the number of appearances he's made. I mean, 13 appearances, 12 games started. He's 4-7, thrown 63 innings. Will Walsh is fine, but on a good team with a deep staff, Will Walsh is maybe your Saturday guy, probably your Sunday guy. Nebraska hasn't had that luxury, right? There's a reason Jackson Brockett's still the Sunday guy. Ty Horn, this is his first real extended action. Been a bit of a bumpy road for him, been a learning experience. Ty Horn hasn't been bad, but he hasn't taken that step forward, hasn't made that jump that, Mason McConaughey did last year. And that's what I think made Nebraska so dangerous last year, is that they had someone step up behind Brett Sears. They were looking for one guy to come in, lock down Saturdays, and say, we feel really good about Friday. Now can we feel really good about Saturday and win the series before the rubber match on Sunday? And Nebraska just has not put itself in that position hardly at all throughout Big Ten play, which is where today's game against Michigan, if Nebraska can come out on senior night, carry over that momentum, carry over the good vibes against Michigan and win the series today, that's a huge step just mentally for the confidence to come out and play on what Will Bolton, the staff, would call Championship Sunday, with a chance to get Nebraska's first Big Ten sweep of the year. But it starts today, and we'll see how Ty Horn responds to that. Bill and Bennett chimes in again. He says, I like Will Walsh to come in as a middle reliever. He has a decent bat too, but I don't think he's batted even once this year. That would be correct, Bill and Bennett. Will Walsh has not picked up a bat and swung this year. And that's just the thing, right? Will Walsh wanted to specialize. And again, for his first real extended action as a specialized pitcher only, it's been fine. It's been fine. Nothing more, nothing less for Will Walsh. But the pitching staff as a whole, I mean, Nebraska struck out 399 batters and walked 210. Yee. That's not even a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Nebraska's stuff isn't playing up, right? They're not trusting it in the zone. I don't know if that's because the stuff doesn't grade out well enough, if that's young guys who are still trying to establish their command and control, Nebraska not trusting its stuff, trying to nibble too much, whatever it is. This is a far cry from the 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio that Nebraska wants. I mean, shoot, even 2.5 you would settle for at this point, but it's going to be highly unlikely that Nebraska is able to get there. So the pitching staff certainly has not been great. And completely honest, the offense hasn't necessarily been elite either, really by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, Nebraska is getting outscored. No, they're not. Just kidding. I was looking at the wrong column. I mean, Nebraska's plus 16 in run differential. My bad. Nebraska scored 290. Oh, just kidding. 24. I was looking at RBI. So Nebraska's plus 24. 464 runs scored for Nebraska. Now, why is this? Oh, these numbers are moving around. Sorry. Okay. Final answer. Nebraska's plus 19. I was right the first time. I got to trust myself. Nebraska has scored 312 runs in 50 games. Allowed 293. All right. My apologies. Final answer. So Nebraska with a plus 19 scoring margin right now. Excuse me. Which on the one hand would lead you to believe that their record would be a little bit better than 500. But plus 19 isn't exactly dominant, right? That tells you Nebraska might pick up a couple wins here or there, but Nebraska would still be fighting for Big Ten tournament position. Nebraska's got a handful of guys hitting over 300. It wasn't exactly a rousing offensive performance last night. And let's think about this, friends. Last night, Riley Silva just recorded his first extra base hit of the year. This is a guy that's played in 88% of Nebraska's games, right? He started about half the time, 27 starts, but 44 appearances for Riley Silva. His first extra base hit in 83 official at-bats. If you factor in hit by pitches and walks, you get another 26 plate appearances. So that'd be 109 plate appearances, one extra base hit for Riley Silva. His slugging percentage is .289. And not that you're asking Riley Silva, who's a speed and defense type of player, to spray the ball all over the yard, go gap to gap. But come on, you're telling me Riley Silva couldn't have 3 or 4 doubles down the line by now? He can't slap one into the gap, get rolling for a triple once this year? That's pretty problematic, all things considered. But the important part for Nebraska is they found a way to win. And last night, the approach I thought was actually pretty solid for Nebraska. They do strike out 8 times, 7 of them against Michigan ace Kurt Barr. But Nebraska was able to knock him out of the game a little early. He went 6 innings, but threw 107 pitches in those 6 innings. He had to face 30 batters, so an average of 5 batters an inning. And Nebraska ended up drawing 5 walks off of him. That's what this offense needs to do when it sees this top line pitching, especially against Friday night guys. Can Nebraska extend at bats? Can Nebraska trust its eye, its patience in the batter's box, extend at bats, and push these aces out of the game early? That's great from Nebraska. When you look at where the walks came from, 3 of them were from the top of the order. Robbie Bolin ended up drawing a walk. Caden Brumbaugh went 1 for 2 with 2 walks. Tyler Stone took a walk. Josh Overbeek took one as well, right? Those are guys, for the most part, in the top half of the order. 3 of the 5 walks from your top 2 hitters. Your biggest power bat right now, and Tyler Stone drew one, and then Josh Overbeek, who showed a pretty good approach for the most part last year. It's come and gone this year. But Overbeek ends up scoring 2 runs. He gets on base twice and scores both times. Case Sanderson goes 3 for 4 last night, and Nebraska does, plain and simple, just enough. And at the end of the day, that's ultimately what matters. So, Nebraska 25-25 overall, 12-13 in the Big Ten. Right now, Nebraska is tied with Illinois and Rutgers in the Big Ten standings. Rutgers last night ended up losing to Penn State 7-5. Penn State right now is at 14-14 in conference play. This Big Ten series for Rutgers comes off a sweep of Illinois last week. So they stay home. They're in the middle of quite the home stretch for them. They sweep Illinois last weekend. They beat Rider in the midweek, and then they drop their first one to Penn State. Rutgers will head on the road to Maryland after this weekend. Maryland clinging to some very, very faint Big Ten tournament hopes. The Terps are 9-16 right now. Illinois, though, like I just mentioned, swept by Rutgers. This comes after they took 2 of 3 from Purdue last weekend, but they lost on getaway day 20-4 in 7 innings to Purdue. So they lose on Sunday. They come back. They get swept by Rutgers, and now they're hosting number 18 UCLA. They lose the first one in a barn burner 10-9. 2 more games against the Bruins before the final weekend of the year. Illinois will go to Ohio State, who is out of Big Ten tournament contention. The Buckeyes are just 3-22 in Big Ten conference play. They've also lost 5 in a row. So for Nebraska, get it against Michigan today. See how tomorrow goes. And then you're in a dogfight with Purdue, who, again, faint Big Ten tournament hopes. They could be extinguished by the end of the weekend, depending on how things break, if my math is correct. So the most important game for Nebraska right now has to be the one in front of it. Nebraska-Michigan at 2 o'clock, about 3.5 hours away from first pitch of game 2 of that series from Haymarket Park. Don't forget, if you're at the Haymarket, right, hang out. Come to the mill, grab a cup of coffee, say hi to us here at the Ticket as we continue Ticket Weekends. Hang out, grab lunch, grab a cup of coffee, make your way over to Hawksfield at Haymarket Park, support Nebraska in game 2 of its series against Michigan here this weekend. We'll go to break. When we get back, talking some Kansas City Royals. We are Lincoln's home for the Royals. The boys pulled it out of a hat again last night. Freddie Fermin, the hero. We'll talk about the Royals. We'll talk about the AL Central when we get back to Ticket Weekends.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends Friday, May 16th.
See Home Club for details.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Treads Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Treads Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Treads Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Muchachos has been serving Lincoln delicious pork, brisket, and chicken tacos for several years now, as well as Hatchback nachos and more. Muchachos also brings you close to the taste buds of your favorite local college athletes with NIL deals like the B3 burrito for Bella Bacon of Nebraska softball and many more. See a variety of different NIL options at Muchachos at 11th and K, or order online at yomuchacho.com. Open 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Oerman.
The goal for those coming on the road, let's go get that first one. And then here's what'll happen. There'll be you'll kind of be lackadaisical. Instead of keeping that energy, why not instead of keeping that energy, you'll probably see just a little bit more ease of play, because in the psyche, we did what we came to do.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, where your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rolling right along here for the next half an hour or so before Youth Football 101 on the airwaves. I'm Austin Norman with you on Lincoln's home for the Royals, the Kansas City Royals, the third place in the American League Central, Kansas City Royals, but a team with a top 6 record in the league, Kansas City Royals. Y'all, the AL Central is going kind of nuts in the early going right now. We'll talk about last night's win, then we'll take a look around the Central. So, Royals win it. Final score of 2-1 in extra innings yesterday. Kind of seemed like they wanted to play baseball all night, but no. Freddie Fermin says absolutely not. Freddie Fermin, one of the random clutch players in baseball. So since 2023, Freddie Fermin is one of just a handful of players with 4 walk-off RBI. I mean, 4 walk-off wins for Fredward F. Fermin. The most walk-off RBI in Major League Baseball since 2023 belongs to Randy Arozarena. He's got 5 walk-off RBI. Then people with 4, Freddie Fermin, Francisco Lindor, who just became the first shortstop to put up 50 wins above replacement in a career since Derek Jeter. It's kind of crazy to think about. Nolan Arenado has 4 walk-off RBI since 2023. Nick Castellanos, Jake Berger, who just got sent down, Ryan McMahon, Tommy Edman, Andrew Benintendi, Brandon Lau, Ozzie Albies, and Patrick Bailey. So a lot of everyday regular players, some borderline fringe all-stars, some best players on the team there. And Freddie Fermin, the backup catcher for the Royals. Freddie is so fun. A random bunting savant. All of a sudden, I mean, he's the first catcher in a while with 2 bunt base hits in a game. Did that earlier this week, I believe. Freddie's just fun, man. I mean, that's a guy who was a non-prospect who just kept working his way through the system, got a shot in Kansas City a few years ago, and has really been a fan favorite. He's stuck, right? The Royals behind Salvador Perez had rotated through a bunch of backup catchers. I mean, Cam Gallagher, Maybreeze Fioria, guys like that for a while. MJ Melendez, of course, had a chance to be a catcher. But shout out to Freddie Fermin, who I think would be stretched if he was playing every day. But for right now, in the role that Kansas City has him in, Freddie Fermin is just such a fun player, really embodies what I think we should want baseball to be about. He's clutch. He's good as a pinch hitter. He can give Salvador Perez an off day. Not a guy you're going to DH a lot, but there are worse options, certainly, than Freddie Fermin. So with last night's 2-1 win over the Boston Red Sox, that improves the Royals to 24-16. Baseball Prospectus gives them an 84.9% chance to make the postseason. Obviously, long ways to go in that one. But some other Royals notes. For the first time in 47 years, the Kansas City Royals have won 16 out of 18 games. The last time the Royals won 16 of 18 was 1978, July 7th to July 28th. That is nuts. 47 years between winning 16 of 18, which in a sport like baseball is certainly hard to do. But the Royals have a bit of a leg up in that. Now, they have one of the best starting rotations, of the 2020s at this point. Again, early. We'll see. But think about this. Now, Royals starters have had 3 consecutive scoreless starts of 7+ innings. The second time in franchise history they've done that. You got to go back to 1989 for this, when it was Brett Saberhagen, Luis Aquino, and Mark Gubicza in 89. Most recently for the Royals, Michael Wacha, 7 shutout innings. Chris Bubich was masterful. And then, of course, Michael Lorenzen. Okay, let's think about this, too. Those aren't the Royals' 1, 2, and 3 starters. Those are the Royals' 3rd, 4th, and 5th starters going 7 shutout innings on back-to-back-to-back nights. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Jared Kohler, who's with 2 Circles in Kansas City, used to be at KC TV5. Of course, it was in Lincoln for a little bit as well. Only one Kansas City Royals team in the last 35 years has had a better record through 40 games than this year's Royals team. Do you care to guess which Royals team in the past 35 years is the only one to be as good or better than this year's team? Don't overthink it. I'm telling you, don't overthink it. It's really not that difficult. It's the 2015 Royals. I'm going to try to get it pulled up here just so I can see. Does it show the record? No, it's not going to show it to me, unfortunately. See if I can do this little trick. So, okay, yeah, I can do it this way. So that's game 44, 43, 42, 41. The Kansas City Royals in 2015 were 26-14 after 40 games, a game that they beat Cincinnati by the final score of 7-1. This year's Kansas City Royals are just 2 games back of that at 24-16. Pythagorean record, according to their runs scored versus runs allowed, said the Royals should be 2 games worse right now, 22-18. But when you have a starting rotation that pitches like this, and you have a bullpen that, for all the consternation of Jake Sorensen, really doesn't give up leads that often, doesn't really give up that many runs, you can get away with having an offense that's one of the worst in the major leagues. And not just in the American League, but in the major leagues. I mean, let's just look at these ERAs for the Royals. Seth Lugo right now running out a 2.84. Chris Bubich, 1.69 ERA. Michael Lorenzen, a 3.57. Michael Wacha, a 2.98. And Cole Reagans, a 3.79. Cole Reagans, of course, missed a start. He's given up 16 runs in 35 innings. All the other Royals starters are at 45 and a third innings or more, which is pretty incredible. Okay, so then we move along to the bullpen. Closer Carlos Estevez. His ERA is 2.50, and he's got 11 saves already. He's given up 6 runs in 18 innings. Only 5 of them have been earned. 16 strikeouts against 9 walks. Daniel Lynch, an ERA of 0.96. Lucas Urseg, an ERA of 0.54. Johnny Leverage, John Schreiber, an ERA of 1.69. Angel Zerpa's fallen a little bit out of favor. His ERA is at an even 4.5. But if you look at the earned runs allowed, only 2 players on the Royals have allowed more than 7 runs out of the bullpen. That's Chris Stratton and Sam Long. Those guys have ended up allowing 25 runs by themselves. Stratton did just pitch a scoreless inning in his most recent outing. I believe it was against the White Sox. Sam Long's been on the injured list with an injured throwing shoulder or arm of some sort, I believe. But let's just do some quick math. Estevez, Lynch, and Urseg have combined to allow 10 runs. Schreiber has only allowed 3, and these are earned, or all runs, not just earned runs. And Serpa's allowed 7. So if my math is correct, the top 5 relievers, I mean, shoot, throw Steven Cruz in there, the top 6, right? He's been really good. 12 appearances, 10 2/3 innings, has yet to give up a run. So the Royals' top 6 relievers, Estevez, Lynch, Urseg, Schreiber, Serpa, and Cruz, have combined to allow 20 runs. Stratton and Long have combined to allow 25. When you take out the 2 biggest negatives on the pitching staff, which it would be this way for a lot of bullpens, but not to this level. I mean, 2 relievers have given up more runs than 6 relievers combined. That's kind of nuts. Taylor Clark has come back to the Royals. He's pitched in 3 games, has yet to allow a run. Evan Sisk has been up and down. He's been fine. Hunter Harvey took the ball 6 times in 5 innings. He had yet to allow a run and yet to allow a walk as well. The Royals bullpen is legit. It is a crazy good bullpen. I won't go so far as to say it's HDH 2.0 by any means, right? I won't do that. I'm not about to do that. But this is 6 legitimate options for the Royals in the back end of the bullpen. And they need it. Need every single one of these players because the American League Central might be the toughest division in baseball. Think about that. That's the equivalent of saying the AFC South is the toughest division in the NFL. Or the Big Ten West is the toughest division in football. You can say, okay, maybe it happens, but not that often, and certainly not like this. The best record in baseball belongs to the Los Angeles Dodgers at 26-13. You know who else has a 26-13 record? The Detroit Tigers. And think about this. Detroit's run differential is plus 84. That is 30 runs better than the Dodgers, who are plus 54 with the same record. The Dodgers have scored 10 more runs than the Tigers, 220 to 210. But think about this then. That means the Tigers pitching staff has been on another level, only allowing 126 runs to the Dodgers' 166. Now, the 126 runs allowed by Detroit is not the best in baseball. The Royals have allowed only 124 runs. Same with the Mets. Those are the best marks in baseball behind the San Diego Padres, who have only allowed 123 runs. So, okay, Detroit tied for the best record in baseball, far and away the best run differential in baseball. The next closest, I believe, is the Yankees. Yeah, the Yankees have a plus 69 run differential, and that's the second best in baseball. But sitting tied for second place with the Kansas City Royals, having played 2 fewer games, the Cleveland Guardians. The Guards are 23-15 right now, and they're being outscored on the season. They are 8 games above 500 with a run differential of -8. Cleveland is playing like a 500 team, but again, solid starting pitching, timely hitting, and one of the best closers in the game in Emmanuel Clase. Papers over a lot of works, papers over a lot of issues. So Cleveland is hanging tough. I don't know if I believe in the Guards. They've got to fade at some point, right? Plain and simple, they have to. But maybe that means Minnesota's coming, right? Minnesota is a game below 500 and 7 games back in the division right now. But they have the same run differential as the Royals at plus 17. Twins offense has been better, not an elite offense by any means, but slightly better than the Royals has. If you make me guess, I would guess Cleveland falls back to the pack a little bit, finishes within 3 games of 500, and I would probably say the same for Minnesota, who's just kind of treading water right now. And last I checked, Minnesota hasn't had that crippling injury yet. Let me look it up just to make sure. Austin Martin is day-to-day with a minor hamstring strain, but he's down in AAA. Trying to scroll through this here. Matt Wallner, not a huge injury by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, Royce Lewis is still playing. Byron Buxton is still playing. Ty France is leading their team on base percentage with a 344. He's still playing, right? I mean, Buxton, Correa hasn't really missed any time. Trevor Larnach has a lot of plate appearances. The Twins aren't injured. Now, is that going to happen? It usually does for the Twins, but if they avoid the injuries, the Twins might have the most talented roster in the division. But watch out for Detroit. I've been on the Detroit train for a while. Not that I like it, but Detroit's legit. The Tigers are legitimately good this year. And one last stat on the AL Central before we take our final break. The AL Central is on a combined 22-game winning streak. Now, this helps that the White Sox won last night. Absolutely, don't get me wrong. But Kansas City, like I mentioned, is 16-2 in its last 18 games. On a 7-game winning streak, 9-1 in the last 10 games. And they have made up a whopping 1 game on Cleveland and Detroit, who are both 8-2 in their last 10. The Twins are even 6-4 in their last 10. And the White Sox ended up winning last night. So with Detroit on a 5-game win streak, Cleveland on a 3-game win streak, the Royals on a 7-game win streak, the Twins on a 6-game win streak, and then the White Sox winning last night, that is a cumulative 22 consecutive wins for the American League Central, if you want to look at it like that. The next longest win streak in baseball belongs to the St. Louis Cardinals, who are now back above 500, 2 games back of the Cubs. Cards are on a 6-game win streak, and we'll talk about the Cardinals coming up in our next segment. What did you miss in baseball last night? We'll go ahead, get you through that, wrap things up for this edition of Ticket Weekends in a moment.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Schwieso Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwieso Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwieso.com. That's schwisow.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
It pays to participate in LES Peak Rewards. You can earn a $25 gift card when you enroll your qualified smart thermostat in the program. Help curb electric demand and sign up today at les.com/peak rewards.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Muchachos has been serving Lincoln delicious pork, brisket, and chicken tacos for several years now, as well as Hatch Mac nachos and more. Muchachos also brings you close to the taste buds of your favorite local college athletes with NIL deals like the B3 burrito for Bella Bacon of Nebraska softball and many more. See a variety of different NIL options at Muchachos at 11th and K or order online at yomuchacho.com. Open 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday.
Make your move fun and easy with the help of Movers and Shakers. Movers and Shakers is homegrown, female-led, and ready to help make your transition to a new space as seamless as possible. They excel at residential and commercial moving jobs, as well as offer home cleanouts and junk removal services. Moving into a new place is stressful enough, so let Movers and Shakers ease the transition. Give them a call today at 712-899-6265 or book your move online at www.moversandShakersNE.com today.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One final segment for this hour here before we turn things over to Youth Football 101, Chancellor Brewington, and the Power Hour in succession for you. I'm Austin Oerman. Appreciate you chiming in. Appreciate you tuning in, following along. Give me a follow on Twitter at Austin_Oerman if you would like. Give you what we're doing during On the Block and Old School every day and some various assorted sports thoughts as well. We're just going to run down a list of what happened in baseball last night. We'll start in the AL Central, like I mentioned, with the Detroit Tigers. Tarik Skubal, last year's American League Cy Young winner, is still good. This should come as no surprise to anybody, but how about this? 12 strikeouts in 7 innings for Skubal, with a whiff percentage of 54.2%. That's insane. 32 swings and misses for the Rangers against Tarik Skubal last night. 32 whiffs on 96 pitches. That is insane. That is off the charts nuts. Just how nuts is it? Since 2008, there have only been a handful of guys who have recorded more whiffs in a game. Jacob deGrom did it. Yeah, he had 35, as did Danny Duffy in August of 2016 on the road at the Trop against the Tampa Bay Rays. Clayton Kershaw also got 35 in 2015. The guys that got 33 whiffs in a game, Lance Lynn got 33 in 2023. Garrett Cole did it in the ALDS in 2019, and then Max Scherzer in 2016 got 33. But Tarik Skubal matched Spencer Strider, Shane McClanahan, Garrett Cole, and Patrick Sandoval with 32 whiffs. Again, the most in a game in the pitch tracking era since 2008. That's pretty impressive. And how about this for Tarik Skubal, picking right up where he left off last year? He has gone 50 strikeouts against 1 walk in his last 6 starts. 50 strikeouts, which in 6 starts is an average of about .3 repeating strikeouts per start, but just one walk. One insane command and control from last year's AL Cy Young winner. Dodgers Diamondbacks was fun. A 14-11 game. Dodgers led it 1-0. Arizona came back to take the lead in the bottom of the first. Dodgers would end up going up by 8-3 margin. Diamondbacks would come back and take the lead 9-8. They would add 2 more in the 8th. So with the Dodgers down, what would that be if my math is correct? Dodgers were down 9-8. Sorry, 11-8. Yeah, 11-8 as they faced their final 3 outs. And they come back, they put up a 6 spot in the 9th. Yeah. Down 11-8, the Dodgers come roaring back to win 14-11. And of course, there's some pretty crazy stuff going on in this game. Dodgers are the only Major League Baseball team in the modern era to take the lead, then trail by 2, then lead by 5, only to trail by 3, and then find a way to come back and lead by 3 or more runs all in the same game. That's a roller coaster, if ever there was one at Chase Field down there in Phoenix. And some hard hits in last night's game. Shohei Ohtani had one of the daggers in the 9th inning for the Dodgers, a 113-mile-an-hour home run. He's got 47 home runs of 113 miles per hour or more since the start of 2021. And he wasn't the only one to go deep and get it out quickly. Ketel Marte homered from both sides of the plate. Both were 113 miles per hour or more. First player to do that since July of last year, Cal Raleigh, switch hitting catcher for the Mariners, did that. The Yankees made some history last night, specifically Jason Dominguez. He homered in 3 consecutive at-bats. He's another switch hitter. He homered from both sides of the plate. His final home run of the night came, I believe, in the 8th inning. It was a grand slam. The first player in Major League Baseball history to homer in 3 straight at-bats, make sure they came from both sides of the plate and hit a grand slam. And Jason Dominguez ends up passing Joe DiMaggio as the youngest Yankee in history with a 3-homer game. Beat him by 109 days. Jason Dominguez, 22 years old and 91 days. Joe DiMaggio was 22 years and 200 days old when he did that. And a quick shout out to Eric Fetty of the St. Louis Cardinals. He threw his first career complete game. It was a shutout complete game. In fact, in a 10-0 Cardinals win over the Washington Nationals. Here's some more fun with that. Fetty won the 2019 World Series with Washington, and it's only the 3rd complete game shutout of the year. Michael King and Nathan Eovaldi threw the other ones. All right, that'll do it for me. I'm going to get out of here. Youth Football 101 comes your way next. Right after that, it'll be What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington and the Power Hour with Todd Euler. Thanks a ton for tuning in here to Some Ticket Weekends. Don't go anywhere. More great stuff lined up for you throughout the day. Royals at 5:30 as well.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance.